The WNBA All-Star Game was supposed to be a statement moment for the league's players. Instead, the weekend sparked controversy. With Caitlin Clark sidelined, many believed this was the perfect opportunity to show the league could shine without its biggest star. From the pre-game conversations to the action,
keep your issues to yourself. You went from a Motel 6 in a sketcy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking.
on the court. However, the event quickly became a lightning rod for debate. One moment that fueled discussion involved Kelsey Plum. During a conversation about players standing together, her comments were widely interpreted online as a subtle jab at Clark. Fans immediately began debating whether the remark reflected frustration within the league or simply a misunderstood comment. The situation unfolded during a weekend that was already under pressure. The previous year's All-Star Game had drawn roughly 3.44 million viewers, one of the highest audiences in league history. Much of that attention was tied to the excitement surrounding Clark's rookie season with the Indiana Fever. This year's event, hosted in Indianapolis, seemed positioned to build on that momentum. Clark had been named a captain, and the expectation was that her participation, especially in the three-point contest, would create viral highlights and packed arenas. The weekend also carried importance beyond entertainment. Players and league officials were navigating ongoing negotiations around the Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA, with a major deadline approaching later in the year. All-Star Weekend often becomes a stage for players to highlight their value and push for improved salaries and benefits. But plans changed when Clark suffered a right groin injury in the closing moments of a game.
The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48%. From $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing
Against the Connecticut Sun on July 15th. She withdrew from both the three-point contest and the All-Star Game, shifting the spotlight of the entire weekend. Once Clark's absence became public, the impact on the event was noticeable. Reports circulated that resale ticket prices dropped significantly, in some cases close to 48%. Fans quickly connected that decline to Clark's absence, arguing that she has become one of the biggest draws in the league. Similar patterns have appeared in regular season matchups as well.
I can't imagine, folks, you know how many NBA players can get injured? And the prices would never drop to this low. LeBron James can be injured, Steph Curry could be injured, Kevin Durant could be in, and the prices still will not drop to be this low. $75? Folks, I'm sure there's some high school football teams down in Texas that charge you at least $75 to get to a home game.
For example, games involving Indiana and teams like the New York Liberty often see dramatic changes in demand, depending on whether Clark is available to play. For many observers, those numbers reinforce a larger point. Clark's presence affects attendance, ratings, and overall interest in ways rarely seen from a single player in women's basketball. That reality made the All-Star Weekend especially important for the rest of the league's players. With Clark unavailable, the spotlight shifted entirely to them. In theory, this was the moment to show that the WNBA's value comes from the collective talent across the roster, not from a single superstar. It also arrived during a crucial period in labor discussions, when players were trying to strengthen their case for improved compensation in the next CBA. Instead of uniting the conversation, the weekend produced several moments that divided opinion. The tension didn't start during the game itself.
Yes, I think, our sports culture, I think so many fans, feel they have the freedom to say whatever they want to us. And unfortunately, there's a lot of nasty things that come with it. At the end of the day, we're here doing our jobs, and they don't have people coming to their jobs saying these nasty things. So, we definitely have to protect the players better. It's unfortunate that it's come to this point, but I know we're going to continue to speak up about it, and we're just trying to play basketball. That's all.
It began even earlier, during interviews and pre-game events. All-Star Games traditionally celebrate the fans who support the league, especially newer audiences discovering the sport. Those fans buy jerseys, share highlights online, and help drive the growth that players hope will lead to better pay and opportunities. But some comments from players gave critics ammunition to argue that the league wasn't embracing those fans as effectively as it could. For example, comments from Alyssa Thomas about fan criticism drew attention online. She spoke about the pressure athletes feel when dealing with negative reactions from crowds and social media. While many athletes across sports share similar concerns, some viewers interpreted her remarks.
It's bigger than me. No player is less important than me or more important than me. We are all here to fight for the same thing and what we deserve. Basketball and WNBA is all I know. And this is the league I love so much. And we're not going to stop until we get exactly what we want. And yesterday's meeting really woke me up to the eyes of we aren't getting what we deserve.
As dismissive of normal fan behavior in professional sports. In highly competitive leagues, passionate crowds, and sometimes harsh criticism are part of the environment. At the same time, conversations about money and labor negotiations were everywhere during the weekend. The discussion intensified when Angel Reese responded to questions about the stalled CBA talks and mentioned the possibility of a strike. Her comment quickly spread across social media platforms and generated thousands of reactions. Some fans supported the players' push for higher pay, while others argued that the league's financial history makes those demands complicated. Reese's remark about a potential strike came during one of the league's most visible events of the season, which is why the reaction was so intense. Critics argued that threatening a work stoppage during a promotional weekend could
We have a long way to go. We're going to use this weekend to show our value and our worth and continue to be united because we do deserve more.
Create the wrong impression for new viewers. Supporters, however, pointed out that All-Star Weekend is precisely when players have the largest platform to advocate for themselves. Other players also framed the weekend as an opportunity to highlight the importance of compensation discussions. Kelsey Plum spoke about the need to win over hearts, minds, and wallets. Emphasizing that players believe they deserve a larger share of the league's growing revenue. That comment reflected an important reality. For athletes to receive higher salaries,
these t-shirts, whoever told them to do this was a bad move. A bad move. Because when I tell you, Fearbuck, Breaking 911, Barstool Sports, congratulations, Clown World picked you up. Hater Report, and about 25 others. This is now going viral. I mean, mega viral, and not in a good way. This backfired from a PR standpoint royally.
The league must continue attracting paying fans and sponsors. The WNBA has experienced significant growth in recent years, but players argue that the financial structure still needs improvement. However, convincing the broader audience requires presenting a product that fans feel excited to support. This is where the All-Star Weekend itself became part of the debate. Instead of focusing entirely on entertainment and celebration, much of the attention shifted toward labor negotiations and player activism. One of the most talked about moments came when players walked onto the court wearing matching shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." The message was clearly aimed at league leadership and ownership groups during the ongoing CBA discussions. While some fans applauded the solidarity, others questioned the timing and the wording. Online discussions quickly turned to the league's financial realities. The WNBA has historically operated at a loss for many years, relying on support from the broader basketball ecosystem and media partnerships. At the same time, a new media rights deal and rising viewership numbers have created optimism.
These players have made a grave miscalculation. They've got, on a 3-to-1 scale, they've got new sports fans, and I don't mean new to sports, new to their league. Fans of other sports now watching their league. The old fandom is the one. All right, we're the 3, they're the 1. Now, we're not watching their whole sport as a whole. We're not. Now, occasionally we peek in on other games or this and that and the other, but we're watching the Indiana Fever. More specifically, we're watching Caitlin Clark. These players know that, and they hate it. And they can't even hide it.
About the league's future revenue. Much of that growth coincides with a surge of interest generated during Clark's entry into the league. Some analysts point to ratings data showing that games featuring Clark often draw significantly larger audiences than those without her. That trend has fueled arguments that she currently plays an outsized role in attracting casual viewers. Memes and commentary spread quickly on social media, with many fans claiming that Clark is the primary driver behind the league's recent surge in attention.
I don't even know how to describe what the hell that was. Like, is embarrassment the basketball a reasonable explanation for that?
The challenge for the WNBA moving forward is balancing those narratives. Longtime fans may support the players' push for improved salaries and benefits, while newer viewers, many drawn in by Clark's performances, may see the situation differently. If conversations about strikes or labor disputes dominate the public image of the league, some casual fans might lose interest before becoming long-term supporters. Ultimately, the All-Star Weekend was meant to celebrate the growth of women's basketball. Instead, it revealed deeper tensions about recognition, value.
We're early in the second half. Look at how many people left at halftime. Look at how many people left the game at halftime. In just the couple of hundred that you guys can see on screen. In just the couple of hundred you can see on screen, there is at least 20 seats missing in that area. From people just left at halftime. More there. More there. This is 7 minutes going to third quarter. And there's all of these. And we'll skip through to the fourth quarter. Not very few of them are back.
And the future direction of the league. The final question remains how the league will navigate those challenges, especially as players, fans, and media continue debating the role that stars like Caitlin Clark play in shaping the WNBA's next chapter. Last year's All-Star format had real energy. At times, it even felt competitive. But this year looked more like a casual run at a local gym. There was little defense, almost no urgency, and long stretches where players jogged up the court and launched lightly contested three-pointers. Aya Wilson, the reigning MVP, finished the game with only 4 points. To many fans, it didn't look like the players were fully engaged. People in the arena and online voiced their frustration, asking why they paid all-star prices to watch a game that felt like half-effort basketball. Some spectators who had spent a lot of money on tickets even appeared to leave early. Of course, all-star games across many leagues can be slow or low intensity. When the result doesn't matter, the games often aren't must-watch events. But this one was expected to feel different. It was supposed to be a moment for the WNBA to show its strength, a packed arena, a national spotlight.
And I totally get the players feeling like, look, we don't want to go out there and risk our body and expend all of this energy. Obviously, we want to put on a good show and we want to do something that the fans enjoy, but we're kind of stretched a little thin here. But then on the same side, I think there might have been an opportunity here if the players went out there, played hard, had a great product, got those ratings up, had the building electric for the entire 4 quarters. Like, there's an example there for the people that you're coming to the table to negotiate with, to show like, hey, look at what we can do. Look at the stars in our league. Look at the fans who show up for us. This is why we deserve to be paid more. This is another reason we deserve to be paid more.
And an opportunity to highlight how far the league has progressed. It was also seen by some as a chance to reinforce players' arguments for higher salaries. Instead,
well, Kelsey Plum decided to give some backstory about these shirts, and she took a shot at Caitlin Clark.
Many viewers felt the showcase didn't deliver the excitement they expected. Some fans compared it directly to the previous year. In that game, Kelsey Plum was...
That was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just United front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, you know, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just... We had a very...
that really needed to be mentioned.
Reportedly pressing Caitlin Clark full court, the pace was faster and the overall effort level looked higher. That intensity made the event feel more competitive and meaningful for spectators. After this year's game, some players suggested the format or the tight schedule as reasons for the slower pace, saying they needed to conserve energy with regular season games approaching. Still, critics pointed out moments from the night before, such as players joking on social media and referring to themselves as Team Hangover, as evidence that the weekend's focus.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is... I mean, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it.
May not have been entirely on the game itself. Whether the reasons were fatigue, planning issues, or simply the nature of exhibition games, many fans felt the event was hard.
So the T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private.
Harder to watch than expected, and that an opportunity to showcase the league had been missed. Team owners and league officials were also paying attention to how the event was received. Even after the game ended, the conversation continued. Following the ongoing discussions about the league's collective bargaining agreement and player salaries, another moment drew attention during the post-game media session. During the press conference, Kelsey Plum made a remark suggesting that members of Caitlin Clark's side had...
The reason this league has never been fiscally responsible, they've never had to be. The reason entitlement is so prevalent in this dump is because they have never been forced to earn their own money.
Had not attended a meeting about wearing certain warm-up shirts connected to the pay discussion. The comment appeared to be delivered humorously, but the timing and context led some viewers to interpret it differently. Although Clark had worn the shirt, the remark still sparked debate online. Sabrina Ionescu, who was seated nearby during the press conference, appeared momentarily surprised by the exchange. Observers quickly noted how easily such moments can be clipped and shared on social media, where they reach large audiences, especially the many new fans following Clark's career. For critics, remarks like that, even if intended as jokes, can seem poorly timed when directed toward the player who has recently drawn a large portion of new viewers to the league. Some people believe that even if everything was fine behind the scenes, the public setting of the All-Star Weekend amplified the situation. The event was meant to be one of the biggest and most celebratory moments of the season. Instead, parts of the conversation afterward focused on controversy rather than the game itself. To certain fans, that shift made the league appear disconnected from the new audience that had begun paying attention. Supporters of Clark often argue that the league should focus on embracing the attention and the new fans she has brought to women's basketball. They believe the best strategy would be to improve the on-court product, avoid public disagreements that could divide the fan base, and capitalize on the increased visibility around the sport. Critics also point to financial realities, noting that the league has historically struggled to turn consistent profits. Because of that, they argue the current surge in interest represents a major opportunity. Regardless of differing opinions, one thing is widely acknowledged: Caitlin Clark has brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA. How the league, its players, and its leadership respond to that momentum could shape the future of women's basketball for years to come.